What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends very soon. Anyways, guys, I want to give you guys a warning about the way the market's moving right now. So we are making lower highs on SPY as of right now. However, just know that whether or not we get this big dump or we get a big bounce from here depends on a very, very big factor. Tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Please remember that at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow, we have CPI data coming out, and this is going to cause a big move. Now, we are expecting a slight increase in CPI if you actually look at what the forecast is telling us. So that's for inflation year over year. We're expecting a slight increase. So are we about to see a little increase in inflation? Are we about to see another spike? We'll see what this leads to. Will the market dump or will the market pump? It all depends on the data. So the data comes out before market opens, so we're going to most likely gap up or gap down by a large extent, and we'll see which way the market ends up moving. I don't know for sure, guys. That's why we want to be very open-minded. And if you're holding anything overnight, whether it's an options position or you're trading futures, be careful, guys. Be very, very careful because we don't know what's going to happen with CPI. CPI could launch us back up to new all-time highs, or we could be looking for a rug pull back down to the mid 590s or below. So we'll see how it goes. We are forming a flag right now in SPY, and this might consolidate into close, but we'll see what happens. For ES, this is also forming a very similar structure. We're just range bound. So we're just trading sideways within this range. We have this resistance to watch for around 6,025. We have 6,010 as our support, not to mention 6,000. I think we're just going to trade between these levels. We might dip closer to 6,010, but overall, we're just kind of stuck in this range, not really doing much. So I think that ES will just remain in this range. It's not really doing a whole lot right now. And I think that it could dip a little bit more going into close, but then we'll see if CPI causes a big bounce or not. So just keep that in mind. We'll have to wait and see on that. For Nvidia, we do have a tendency of rejecting off 148 to 150. In this case, we're actually holding up decently, so we could push closer to 149 and continue this consolidation phase. So we'll see what happens. I think we continue to consolidate. We might push a little bit higher than consolidate, but then we'll see what happens with this very, very important data that's coming out. So we'll launch us back into the 150s. Do we get a rug pull? We'll have to see about that. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin's also trying to push. We'll have to see if we could break 90,000 or not. Then we have support at 88,000, 87,238. So I think we might try to push. We are forming a nice U-shaped recovery on Bitcoin, so it might attempt to break 90,000. This still looks very bullish, but this will also depend on CPI. Whether Tesla dumps closer to 320 or below that, all the way down to 308, or if we get a big breakout above 340 all over again, depends on CPI. So we'll be waiting to see what that leads to as well for Tesla. It is a little bit weak right now, but don't worry about this because it's only down 6%. That's nothing compared to the 50% it's been up for the last couple of weeks, the last week especially. So I'm not really too worried about Tesla. It's just very, very healthy what it's doing so far. NQ, could we break 21,250? Do we end up getting a rug pull back down below the 21,000s? It all depends on CPI. We're waiting for that as well. I do want to call out that the QQQ has a possible head and shoulders, but this is not a guarantee. These don't always play out. We could rally back up to 515 tomorrow or start dumping below this low. If this low were to break, we would be dipping to our 200 EMA around 507. We'll see which way it goes. The head and shoulders is still there nonetheless. Apple's going to dip into close, coming back down to about 223.5 before it consolidates. That's all I'm really seeing, at least for the broader markets. We might see the IWM dip down to about the 236.5 area, so it could dip a little bit lower. But I'm not too worried about that. If that fails us, we have 234.9 as our next support. Overall, not really doing much. We do have a head and shoulders like structure on Coin. If Coin ends up losing 307, we're going to be dipping back down. Otherwise, we're just range bound for now. So I'm not really seeing much that's going on here. For Amazon, we're just range bound. We pushed up to about 210 only to dip, so we could be looking for essentially 208. So we'll see how it goes. Meta is also consolidating. We're going to be watching to see if we break 588 or not. If we lose 584, we're going to be dipping back down, but I just think that we're consolidating. Look for a push to 588 until close, and we'll see what happens after that. Microsoft push up to 424. If we can't break past that, we could be dipping again. Overall, it did get that break. We were talking about how it was consolidating here and had potential. That's pretty good. Google's also trying to push. It has potential to break out above 184. We have a nice cup and handle like structure that's developing here. So that could lead us to essentially pushing for 184 plus. If that breaks, we have 186. So we'll see if that ends up being the case, but that's what I'm seeing at least thus far, at least for these different levels. I remain more bullish in terms of the market for the overall seasonality trend. So even if we do get some kind of big dump in the markets, if SPY does dump more tomorrow or even for the rest of the week, we're going to see a big rally as we get closer to December, if not by the end of the year. So that's once again just signifying that there are buying opportunities that are coming. The market's still not done. But for tomorrow specifically, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen depending on CPI. So just keep that in mind if you're holding any positions. Thank you for listening. That's your final warning. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.